What would you be willing to give if the price of success was your very soul? Ambition can be as sweet as the taste of victory, or as bitter as the poison that slowly devours the spirit. Many dream of fame, wealth, and respect, but few ever stop to think about what they might lose in the process. In a forgotten corner of the countryside, an old legend is still whispered among the elders. The story of the Cursed Rooster, a tale woven with desperation, vengeance, and a dark pact that forever changed one man's fate. The dream of a loser. Decades ago, in a noisy, dusty town where cockfighting was the most anticipated event of the week, there lived a man named Ramiro Mena, an ordinary man with an extraordinary dream to become the best cockfighter in the region. But reality was cruel. Ramon was known far and wide as the worst in the sport. His roosters were weak, sickly, and always fell within seconds. Every defeat brought new ridicule. People laughed at him openly, and children mocked him in the streets. But the worst humiliation came from one man, Ernesto Rivera, the most successful and arrogant cockfighter of them all. Ernesto crushed Ramon's birds with ease every time and never missed an opportunity to publicly humiliate him, calling him the king of losers. Ernesto had everything Ramon wanted: money, prestige, and the admiration of women. Every one of Ernesto's victories was a knife to Ramon's pride. Since childhood, Ramon had dreamed of greatness, but his poor decisions sabotaged him. Instead of saving for a strong, well-bred bird, he wasted his meager earnings on cheap, worthless roosters. Over time, his reputation was ruined, and no one took him seriously anymore. The defeat that changed everything. Tired of being a laughingstock, Ramon decided to risk everything on one last chance. He sold his few belongings and spent every cent on a rooster that was promised to be unbeatable. With hope burning in his chest, he arrived at the cockfighting pit, ready to change his destiny. The crowd roared with excitement. When Ramon challenged Ernesto to a match, everyone thought he had lost his mind. He wagered his final penny, willing to lose it all. But the outcome was just as it had always been. His rooster was crushed in seconds. Laughter erupted around him. Ernesto, basking in his humiliation, shouted, "You should bet against yourself. That's the only way you'll ever win anything." That night, under a torrential storm, Ramon sat alone in the empty pit. Soaked to the bone and shattered inside, he muttered through clenched teeth, "If only I could defeat him, if only I could ruin him. I'd give anything to change my luck." At that moment, a flash of lightning split the sky, and from the shadows came a deep, raspy voice. "Ramon." The stranger in the pit. Startled, Ramon turned and saw an old man standing beneath the bleachers. His face was a roadmap of deep wrinkles. His eyes glowed with a strange light, and a wide-brimmed hat shadowed most of his features. He held a bottle of aguardiente in one hand. "Come here, boy. You'll catch your death out there in the rain," the old man said. Ramon hesitated, but eventually approached. The stranger offered him a drink, and after taking a long sip, the defeated cockfighter poured out his soul. "I'm tired, sir. I always lose. I have no money, no respect, and that bastard humiliates me every chance he gets." The old man studied him in silence for a long moment before speaking again. "Would you do anything to win?" Without hesitation, Ramon replied, "Anything. I just want to see him pay. I want to get back everything I've lost." A crooked smile crept across the stranger's face. He pulled out a small cage covered with a black cloth. When he lifted it, Ramon's breath caught in his throat. Inside was a rooster, unlike any he'd ever seen, jet black feathers that shimmered like a starless night, and glowing red eyes that burned like embers. "This is no ordinary bird," said the old man. "This is a creature of great power. If you care for it properly, it will win every fight. You'll have your revenge, your wealth, your respect, everything you ever dreamed of." There were only 3 conditions. Ramon had to feed it raw meat twice a day, never show charity to anyone, and return the bird after 1 year. If he broke any of these rules, the old man would come for it himself. Blinded by greed, Ramon agreed without a second thought. The rise of the underdog. The next morning, Ramon returned to the pit with the cage covered. Ernesto and the others laughed as soon as they saw him. "Look who's back to lose more money." Ernesto jeered. Ramon said nothing. He placed the cage on the ground and spoke in a calm but defiant voice. "Bring out your best bird. Your reign ends today." When he lifted the cloth, silence swept through the crowd. None of them had ever seen such a menacing rooster. Ernesto, confident as ever, released his champion. The fight began, and within seconds, the black rooster annihilated its opponent. The crowd gasped. Ramon, the perennial loser, had finally won. Ernesto demanded a rematch, wagering a large sum of money, but the result was the same. The black rooster was unstoppable. From that day on, Ramon never lost again. His fame exploded. Men respected him, women desired him, and money poured in. Within months, he had gone from a nobody to the undisputed king of the cockfighting world. No one dared challenge him. The shadow of the Pact. The year passed faster than he expected. Now wealthy and powerful, Ramon had no intention of fulfilling the pact. The black rooster wasn't just a companion. It was the source of all his success. Returning it meant losing everything, and he couldn't bear the thought. But one night, during one of the biggest fights of his career, something strange happened. While watching his bird fight, he felt a piercing gaze on him. He looked up, and there, in the back row, sat the old man, half hidden in the shadows. Those glowing eyes stared directly into Ramon's soul. A chill ran through his body. Sweat soaked his brow. For the first time in months, fear gripped him. The old man's presence was suffocating. Ramon tried to focus on the match, but couldn't. His mind was trapped in that gaze. Finally, overwhelmed by panic, he abandoned the fight and fled the arena, leaving behind the black rooster and a bewildered crowd. The price of the pact. When he arrived home, his worst fear came true. The old man was waiting for him. He stood silently in the doorway, the black rooster's cage in hand. "Looks like you're trying to run," boy, the old man said, his voice cold and heavy. "I told you what would happen if you broke our deal." Ramon dropped to his knees, trembling. "I am not running. I just need time. Please, let me set a few things right." With a heavy heart, Ramon traveled the next day to his elderly mother's house. Without explaining anything, he handed her a letter detailing where his fortune was hidden and confessing the sin he had committed. Then he said goodbye. That night, he returned to the place where the old man was waiting with the cage. His fate was sealed. Eternal punishment. After that night, Ramon Mendez vanished without a trace, but the legend says otherwise. Locals claim that on moonless nights, a ragged man appears at the cockfighting pits, always with a black rooster whose eyes burn like fire. They say he challenges the most arrogant fighters, those who mock the weak, and none have ever walked away unscathed. Some swear it is Ramon's condemned soul, doomed to wander forever with the demonic bird that gave him everything and took it all away. A final reflection, the price of ambition. The tale of the Cursed Rooster is more than a story of rural horror. It's a deep warning about human nature. Ambition can be a powerful force that drives great achievements, but it can also become a deadly trap when we cross the line between desire and obsession. Ramon wanted respect, wealth, and power, but he wanted them without work, without sacrifice. He sought shortcuts, and in his desperation, he opened a door that should have remained closed. The price he paid was far greater than he ever imagined. Legends often exaggerate, but they all contain a kernel of truth. What comes easily is rarely kept. And if the road to success is paved with blood, deception, or dark bargains, victory ceases to be triumph and becomes damnation. The echo of this story still lingers in the town's collective memory. Old men still warn the younger cockfighters. If an old man ever offers you a black rooster with red eyes, walk away, because success bought with your soul is never truly yours. And the cursed rooster is always waiting for its next victim. Epilogue. A lesson that remains. Today, many years later, the old cockfighting pit where Ramon lost everything still stands. Fewer matches are held there now, but those who enter claim they feel an icy chill crawl up their spine, as if something or someone is watching from the shadows. Some swear they've seen a ragged figure with a dark rooster lurking in the bleachers, patiently waiting for the perfect moment to appear. We may never know if the story is real, or just a legend, but one truth remains. Power without sacrifice always comes with a price, and sometimes that price is one that not even death can pay. Moral. Never give your soul for something you can earn through effort. Wealth, respect, and power gained through forbidden means are not blessings, they are chains. And sooner or later, the one who offered them will return to collect. If this story left you unsettled, it's because it touches something deeply human. The dark side of desire. Maybe we don't make pacts with demonic roosters, but each of us faces similar temptations. The easy shortcut, the irresistible promise, the opportunity that seems too good to be true, all are modern forms of the same deal. And even though the world is no longer filled with dusty cockfighting pits or mysterious old men in the shadows, the choice remains the same. Work hard for what we want, or give up something priceless in exchange for a fleeting illusion. Let the legend of the Cursed Rooster serve as a reminder that true power cannot be bought or bargained for. It is forged through sacrifice, earned with dignity, and maintained with humility. The end.